Welcome back to ATL Day Ones. I'm Tenitra. That is Jarvis, and we appreciate you guys for starting your week, whether that's your work week, your school week, or whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe your staycay week. But we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us and always downloading us wherever you get your podcast and leaving us those great 5-star reviews and even the comments. We definitely read the comments. You guys had a lot to say about a topic that we're going to revisit today. So, Jarvis, let's get right into it. I have coined a phrase that a couple of folks are now using, and I call it hashtag Deanisms. And what that means is, defensive
Yes.
coordinator Dean Pease will always give us something to work with. And he did not disappoint on the last day of training camp for the first week of training camp for the Falcons, right? So Dean Pease literally, there was aggression all over the place. So we're going to talk about some of that aggression as well.
Yeah,
But
man. Ugh.
literally, Dean Pease talked about how he was fed up, really, and wanted people to pipe down on his defense and let his defense show you how they're going to pipe up and potentially do something that a defense for the Falcons has not done in 2 decades. And that's leap into the top 10. And he wants the negativity to stop and for the focus to really get on what those guys can do when they get on the field. And Jarvis, you were out there last week. You saw how fired up they were. And even on Saturday for training camp, there was a little dust up there with Jermaine Ifedi and Jalen Dalton. And then, of course, so they had to leave practice. And then Anthony Rush got into a little dust up. Practice was shut down at that point. So I ask you this question. Is that some early fire that you like to see that you think might translate into the regular season? Or is it just heat breeds aggression?
You know what? I think it's the former because when you think about it, there is from defensively there is always a kind of like a team aspect. Now, not to say that
Mhm.
that's not the case for off offense because, but I think there is something to say about guys starting to get to a point where they feel like they have to exert themselves physically on one of their teammates. You
Yeah.
got to think about that thought process, right? When you
Mhm.
get to that point, they're like, sure, there's some heat involved, no doubt about it. But there is something that everybody has to feels like they have to something to prove. Like we talk about, even
Mhm.
when going back to Anthony Rush and responding to a comment on social media, like he feels like he has
Right.
something to prove. I got a chance to talk to Marlon Davidson. He said he actually reads the comments on
Yes.
Twitter. And he said he
Yeah.
uses it as motivation. So
Mhm.
everybody feels like they have something to prove. And when you get that chip on your shoulder, it's kind of like, I don't care who's in my way. Like if you are holding me back from proving who I am and what I can do as a player, like you might get slapped. Like
Yeah.
that's just how it is. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm not a proponent for violence. And a lot of times coaches aren't really either. Because they have an agenda when every day when they go out to practice, and that's
Yeah.
why
You don't want
Arthur
anybody to
Smith
get hurt.
eventually, yeah, you don't want to get anybody to get hurt, and plus they're trying to accomplish something.
Yes.
But from time to time, there comes a point where, like Dean P said, you get
Mhm.
tired of folks talking junk. And I even asked the question to Arthur Smith when I was out there Friday, and it was in reference to being better than they were last year. And
Mhm.
Arthur Smith kind of got a little fired up. And you can tell that these guys talk about this stuff. And that's why I think that Dean Pease is the type of guy that he talks about this stuff in regards to being better, in
Yes.
regards to doing more, in
Mhm.
regards to knowing the defense 100%,
Yeah.
so he can call those plays. And then not only because he can call them, and so you can go out there and be successful when he does call them. And I
Exactly.
think that he has some weapons that have the capabilities of executing it. And guys being in their second year in his defense, and you got guys that have been with him before, so they got a full understanding of what he's trying to accomplish. So I think there are a lot of factors that go into, okay, this is why, yeah, they got into a fight, they got into it, but here's why. These
Mhm.
people, a lot of people on the field for the Falcons, specifically on defense, have a lot to prove.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Carter, big time prospect coming out of Georgia. Like, yeah, he had five sacks in 4 games last year, but shoot, what did you do outside of that? Everybody has something to prove.
Mhm.
Everybody, Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ritter, everybody has something to prove, and I
Right.
think that that's one of the reasons why that Dean Pease kind of went off like he did, and I think that's why you saw those guys kind of mix it up over the weekend.
Right. And hold that thought. Let's hold that thought because we got a little bit more to dig into with Dean Pease and that defense. So I don't want to get too far into that
Right.
before we talk about Coffee AM.
No doubt about it. Y'all know why I'm fired up. Know why I can talk for so long at times because I'll be drinking my coffee a.m. baby. I use it every morning to get myself going because I
Yeah.
start off my days early and I need a little pick me up because I get my workout on. I'm starting to get my shake tea. I'm trying to get right. Trying to walk around with my shirt off at some point before it get cold. So I need my coffee a.m. to get myself together because it is the best small batch coffee
Mhm.
roaster in America. That's the only choice, guys. If you want to try out Coffee AM, go to coffeeam.com/locked on. And we got a special treat for you once you go there. What is it, Jarvis? Once you go to the coupon code, you pick out what you want because they got a big wide selection, right? They have all of you can get the teas, you can get, the fresh coffee, it's roasted and shipped same day or close to it, and it's made to order right there,
Mhm.
waiting just for you. Now, what's the code? What we got going on? What you got for the locked on listeners and viewers? All right. Once you select what you want because the selection is just crazy. Just talked about it, right? You're gonna get 15% off. All you gotta
Mhm.
do is just drop the code locked on in the coupon code box, and you'll get 15% off of all coffees, teas, and gift sets.
Yeah.
Go ahead and try it out today, right now.
Yeah. And we think you're going to love it just like we love all that fire that Dean P brought on Saturday. We absolutely
Yes.
are here for it. Dean was like, hey, we've been in the top 10 as a defense, the Falcons organization, one good time, once in the last 20 years. And he said that
Years.
little ish
Goodness.
is over, done, it's a wrap. So for him, he said, hey, I'm not expecting anything less of my guys. And here's what I thought about Jarvis
Hmm.
before I actually ask you the question. I was listening to Rashad Evans speaking earlier to our buddies Andy and Randy, right?
Right.
And one of the things that he talked about is the fact that Dean Pease is the same in front of a camera, meaning in front of the media, and behind closed doors with the defense. And I thought about this. He brought him in because he knew that he could master the defense because he's already mastered the defense under Dean Pease, and he knew that he believed that Evans, in spite of his injuries, had something left in that tank, right? You just
Hmm.
mentioned Lorenzo Carter. They're bringing Lorenzo Carter on because they think he might have something left in that tank. So you look at some of their veteran additions, and then you throw in, as you mentioned, the current prove it guys like a Marlon Davidson or a Taquan Graham, and the guys who are coming in saying, "Oh, I'm ready to rock day one." Arnold Ebiketie.
No
Put it
doubt.
all together, Jarvis, and even Grady Jarrett. I love the hunger that we're still seeing in him in year 7, and you're looking at AJ Terrell and he's still hungry. I say all that to say, Jarvis, there might be a shift that is coming because the talent, I think you'd agree, is much better than it was last year. So you've got more talent, and you've got somebody like Dean Pease who believes that you can follow his complex defense and get something done. You believe, Jarvis, that he can change the culture, and do you believe he has the personnel to make that jump?
Yes, yes, and yes. Because when you think about because the track record is there, right? Like
Yes.
we're not questioning whether or not Dean Pease is a good defensive coordinator. There's a
Mhm.
reason why Arthur Smith brought this man. He's 71 years old, man, in out of retirement to come coach this defense is
Yes.
because he knows what the heck he's doing. like,
Mhm.
and plus it's immediate respect
Yes.
as soon as he walks in the room.
Yes.
Immediate, respect when he walks into the room. So and like you mentioned, the talent is there, right? It's just a matter of those guys going out and executing. Lorenzo Carter got a little talent. You don't get drafted and as high as he did,
Right.
if you don't. And I think
Mhm.
that you got to get a second round pick in Arnold Ebiketie, who, they traded up for. There's a reason why,
Mhm.
because he has the talent.
Yes.
D'Angelo Malone selecting the third round with the 82nd
Mhm.
overall pick. It's a reason why he was drafted there, because he has the talent.
Yes.
And I think that the Falcons understand that you need the talent just
Mhm.
to be in a conversation of changing the culture, right?
Yes.
Because they
Yes.
didn't have that last year, and
Mhm.
Dean Pease just kind of tried to figure it out. He mentioned throughout sprinkled in those frustrations
Those
throughout the year,
Deanisms.
them Deanisms. He dropped those Deanisms throughout the season. So if you were at those press conferences like you were, you and I were like, you understand, like this is something that's been boiling for quite some
Hmm.
time. So, and I think that this is something that we're going to kind of see come to fruition this year, because I know that Pease is a really good coach, and I think that from a talent standpoint, they do have the pieces to
Yes.
to put it all together.
And I have to agree with you on that one. I believe, yes, he is that person, maybe more than anyone I've seen, kind of be the person who can change that culture, if you will, and kind of
Hmm.
change the mindsets. And sometimes, Jarvis, it's a mind game first. And if the talent is there, then hey, we can work on that. But I got to get your mental right. And that was one of the
Hmm.
things that I think it was almost like, I'm ministering to you, but I'm ministering to myself because he's
Right.
selling it to the media, but he knows his players are listening as well. So I really love that. And yeah, I agree with you. I believe there are more than enough people on this roster, more than enough personnel that has the talent and has the desire to prove something that is going to put the Falcons in a good position to at least chase after getting that top 10 position for defense. And you used something as well that Dean Pease used, and that was putting some respect on his defense's name. Well, you know what y'all are going to have to do next season for the Hawks? If they do what we just saw this past weekend, put some respect on their names. We'll talk about it when we come back in For the Culture.